Hello everyone, it is Christine here and I am back for Stitchmas, or 12 Days of Crafty Christmas, where I'm sharing ideas on decorations but also on other little gifts that you can make for friends that might be into slow stitch or stitching or crafting. And today it is going to be these adorable little thread winders or ribbon cards or lace cards. So as you can see here, I've got this great little card and I've put some of my vintage laces that I got in my recent haul from Purveyor of Reclaimed Textiles. Beautiful, beautiful vintage laces. I just adore this one down the bottom with its little stars amongst a crisscross pattern. Then I've got some of the wools I also got in that same lot, and another lace as well, a larger quantity of that. And they are double-sided, and I've used a lovely William Morris paper on the back, which is the same one that you can see down there, and a design that I got from a site called Wings of Whimsy, and I'll link to it in the description box below, for these beautiful little printables, which are free to download and print, and they make the most beautiful vintage style cards. I'll also be showing you how you can make a box. Now, I was lucky enough when I went to the reverse art truck this morning to pick up a huge, and this is only a tiny portion of them, a huge wad of boxes that had been obviously prepared for packing these candles, but never been used. And so they make the perfect little base, but you could even repurpose a tissue box or another box that you have around the house. So I'll just show you how you can do that. It just so happened that it was the perfect size for storing these little cards in, and they'll be able to sit just near my craft desk, and I'll be easily able to grab a bunch of them, so I could have all the sort of more vintagey natural coloured laces in one, yellows, wools in another, depending how many I get once I wind all my wools on. But yeah, just a fun little idea to then cover a box with that same design, or you could indeed cover it with papers. Now, many of you, if you've been crafting for a while, you might have gone through the whole scrapbooking phase, and you probably have a lot of scrapbooking papers left, maybe, like me. So it's a great way to be able to use those, and also to be able to use cardstock that you may have. Or you can indeed repurpose things like old boxes, because this card would be absolutely fantastic as the backing as well. The fact that these boxes have two sides that have nothing on them makes it a very versatile card indeed. So this beautiful paper is actually from a set of, I guess, disposable placemats, but it's so beautiful that I don't think I could bring myself to use them as placemats, so I want to use them for a more permanent purpose. So let me get started. So as I say, I'll link to this beautiful design that's the free printable. I'll link to that in the description box below, and then for the backing you can use whatever you want to use. So it's as simple as printing out your printable, and my printer lets me print borderless. If you printed it with borders, then it's just going to be a slight bit smaller, won't be a problem. Get your Yoo-hoo glue, or your glue of choice, and you're just going to glue. You don't have to go right to the very edges, because you do on these sides, but these sides you don't, because the design doesn't go right to the edge. But you do want to cover it well so that you don't get sort of peely corners. So just make sure you get a good covering across it. Again, to the bottoms, go right to the bottoms, but don't have to go right to the sides. Bottoms and tops, and then so I think there were on the site, there were printables you could put on the back as well, but then you'd have to line them up quite carefully, whereas if you use just a backing paper, like a scrapbooking paper, or you could use wrapping paper indeed. If you had some nice wrapping paper to put as a back, that could work really well too. And then we're just going to stick them down right to the edge. And I like that the designs already have some little like creases and folds. I don't know if they've been scanned in from like old cards, I'm not sure. But that's that done. Then we'll flip it over. We'll grab the other half from a sheet that I made yesterday, because when we cut these out I'll use the one that I glued yesterday, just because it's nice to let the glue sort of sit and harden up. And as you can see, it's quite quite a good weight, quite sturdy, without being too heavy, because if you're going to be carrying your crafting supplies around, then you don't want to be having really heavy things, bulky things. And those of you that have been watching a while know when I go on holidays I like to take my supplies so I can craft away. We've booked a second week after our when we go to the Central Highlands in New South Wales, the Southern Highlands in New South Wales for the Fleur Woods workshop. We've booked a week. When we come on the way back, we're going to stop into our favourite Bright in Alpine, Victoria, but this time we'll stay in Harrietsville, down the road a bit by the river. So that will be lovely. I don't know if I'm using the perfectly straight edge here. I think I'm using the one where I cut the edge, but I'm sure it will be fine. Just want to smooth it down like that. So yeah, I'll let that then set, and I usually sort of sit it underneath something like these papers. So I'll sit that down there, and then we can get stuck into cutting our So I'm actually going to be making one of these as a gift for a friend to pop in the mail and send them a little happy mail with some beautiful vintage laces. So it's a great idea if you've got a stitchy friend, either someone that you might be seeing in person at Christmas or someone that you can pop in the mail, because I think this one, if I don't wrap too much around it, I'll be able to send it just as a card only overseas for $3, 3 Australian dollars, which makes it affordable to send lovely little surprises in the mail. And it's really a card. It's a card with some lace on it. Don't know if that's what the postal service thought about when it wrote card only, but we can interpret it as that, can't we? So some of you might have fancy machines that might be able to have a pattern like this and cut it out, but I haven't seen those. I don't have one of those, so I am doing the old style. And I'll show you in a moment what to do if you have like a thicker lace or trim or something, how you can accommodate it even though these notches are a bit smaller. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit of cardboard at the end, and then I'll do the other side. And then I'll show you how I can also put twine on it, because I've got another friend I want to send some colourful threads to. Some, what are they called again? Razzle threads from Sue Spargo's collection. Don't worry, Martha, it's not you. I know you don't love those threads. You find them a bit frustrating. I'll have to work out something else to send you as a happy mail, Martha. I think we were going to swap a stitchery square at some point, Martha. I've actually got to, this weekend, get stuck into Dewsey's stitchery square and get that sent off. So lots of little happy mails going out to friends. Now, I haven't worked out what to use these little bits for, so I'll just pop those aside. So there you go, beautiful. And in fact, this is where I'll just need to probably trim the top just a smidge across, which won't matter at all. There we go. Just because the paper didn't entirely meet up, but that's okay. I've just got a little bit of paper rough edge there. And I'll cut a second one out because, yeah, as I say, I'll do one that's a thread one as well. trim. Never use your good sewing scissors on paper crafts, so keep a separate set that you're happy to use for paper crafting. So again, we'll just cut around. I had previously just been using like old cereal boxes just to cut out rough cuts, sort of little thread winders and things, but I like that this one has spaces for multiple things, so often you'll want like a yellow wool, and so rather than having to grab out 5 different little thread cards, you can grab one out and then take your selection and see them all next to each other. So I think that's going to be quite handy. Likewise with the laces, you want to sort of audition them, but it's just easier to get one card out rather than many. I even showed these to my partner. He goes, "Wow, they look amazing. Did you buy them like that?" I was like, "No, I made them." He goes, "People would pay money for those." And they have the beautiful laces on them, or even the wools. It just, rather than having just a pile of wools like I've got in my little drawers at the moment, it'll be so nice to look at them and, yeah, sort of pay them the appropriate level of respect in the way that I display them. So I figure if I do one of these a day, then I'll gradually get my collection under control. I think that's half the problem with our crafts. It's like, how do you store them in a way that, one, you can know what you've got, things don't just get shut away in a box somewhere. I'll leave that one to cut out another time. So let's maybe start with our threads first. But actually, before I do that, let me show you what you can do if you've got some thread that's wider. So lace that you want to wind on that's wider. So this was wider than that particular sort of size. So what I did was just cut out one of the notches in the middle and gave myself a larger space, and it was good because I have a lot of this lace. I'll be sharing some of this lace with my friend that I'll be making a lace card for. But I will first of all get my Razzle Dazzle threads out and share some of those. So what I do when I've got a thread is put a little snip in that I can wind the thread into to attach it. So just a little notch all the way down. And then I can start with some purple. I want to give a variety of colours. So what I'll do is start it in that little notch. And then I will start to wind it on. Now again, I have to keep it relatively flat, so I won't go overboard and do too many layers or anything. Just want to send a little sample, and I don't want to pull these threads too tight because I don't want them to kind of get worn on the card. I just want to keep a nice sort of tension up for them. Squishy them up. Easier to go from this end so I don't keep catching on the rest of it. So these threads are really lovely, and I know this particular friend has been wanting to give them a go, so I thought perfect time of year, I'll pop some in the mail to her. So I think I'll come back and do I think a second layer should still get past the postal police. want to give enough that it will be plenty to have a good play with. This end under there. I think I could have done it round into the back, but I think that will be fine. Well, actually, I might take it to the back once I've got it through. Take it to the back under there. Oops, that one's come out as well. Now they're both escaping. Hang on, let's just do this. That one's there. One's there. I will just tuck this one under here. I'll neaten that up later, but that one can stay there and this one can tuck under the back. Probably actually with this one should have done it so. Take this one in and then take that to the back. Might be a better idea, I think. I'll just wrap it around. Once or twice more. It's very, this thread is very silky and sort of just doesn't tend to behave itself as well as some other threads in that it will just want to wiggle around, but that is good. And then I'll put my little homemade thread wraps back on. Reusable thread wraps. So as you can see, this thread just wants to always jiggle wriggle around and unravel itself. So this is just a plastic that I recycled from some little seed growing covers, but it sticks to itself, but is reusable. So maybe this one next, that could be nice. Trying to find the end. See, that's how well it sticks to itself, in that you can't always discern the end. Now, where is the end of the thread? There we go. So I won't do all of this because it will get tedious watching. I'll just do this one and then we'll move on. I'll just take that little bit off and keep that for some of my own thread. And let's start. So I think the trick might be leaving a bit more of a tail behind here that I can then wind over, and I'll keep hold of it. So I hope you're having a great day. Hopefully you might be doing some crafting for the festive season, or just doing some nice relaxing crafting. I know for many of you, you're heading into really cold time. Some of our little stitchy community were talking about it snowing yesterday. It's just drizzly here. That's why I took Travis to the reverse art truck for a bit of an outing. Look at the colours on this one, so lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. This one's still trying to undo itself. I'll have to attend to that later. Might have to rewind that first one, I think. So even this one, what I might actually have to do is put a little nick in this side as well and take it over past that, I think. So just hold your threads out of the way while you put another little nick in, and then that will hold it better. I'll probably have to do the same up on this one as well. It's just getting that little bit unwindy, being a bit naughty. Now I can't even even find where the end's gone, but that's okay. We'll sort it out afterwards, I think. Oh no, there we go. We can tighten it up. Tighten it up and take that under there. And then hopefully, if I've got it sort of into two little nicks, it might sit a bit better. So we'll still sort that one out properly, but there you go. That is the thread wound onto those. And then let's do the lace, which I can promise you is a lot easier. Now with the lace, I've used, and certainly with the wools, it holds fine when you just have the little nick as well. But yeah, with the lace, I usually just put a little pin in. If I'm sending it in the mail though, I might just I'll see if I can just sort of tuck it into itself. So I don't need to create any little nicks, but I'm going to just wrap this lovely vintage beautiful lace around. So I think someone said they thought this was bobbin lace, possibly. So again, I probably shouldn't put too much on, but I want to give enough that there'll be enough available for some slow stitching fun. Just have to sort of think about the thickness of the envelope when I send it. I think I'll be able to get this around. So what I'll do to avoid putting pins in the mail, because that might be frowned upon, I think, is I'll just tuck the ends tightly underneath, and as you can see, that holds really nicely, not like the razzle thread that wants to do some some odd bits and pieces. Now this one's a thicker one, so I might have to work something out on that, but I've got some of this lovely one as well, which is a vintage also, so I'll cut a good quantity of that off. And we can wind that around too. So again, just sort of overlap it a little bit, a fair bit at the back, so that you get a good holding, but the laces will generally hold themselves pretty well. It's probably getting about as thick as we're allowed, but we'll try for that, see how we go. So yeah, I'll continue on doing that and sharing some of my beautiful laces. And then yeah, I'll finish off these ones with the threads. So then I'll show you how I make the little boxes in case you've got some boxes that you can repurpose. So I'll take one of these boxes, which as I mentioned, got from the Reverse Art truck. I'll then measure approximately, I did the first one just by eye, but essentially we'll be going about across like that. If I have my ruler handy, I can try and actually draw myself a proper straight line. Not that it matters too much, but maybe if I put a little crease line in, it might actually help with the folding step of the process. Try just using the blade of my scissors to do so if you can put a little cut fold in, it might just get you a nice crisper line. So I'm just lining it up with where I'm just looking on the previous side to line it up with that. Doesn't have to be exact. Actually, I didn't use the scissors, did I, to do a crease on this side, so I'll just do that. But yeah, you could give tissue boxes a go as well. You just want enough height that it will hold the cards sort of nice and steady, not sort of falling out, so you don't want too low of a box. down to where I've put those little lines on. Get my beautiful thread out of the way as well. And then, because I had put those little crease lines in, it does make it a bit easier to get a nice fold. And I leave the extra bits of cardboard. I first of all just get them folded in, and then I usually just put a bit of glue on just to hold them down if it needs it. Although this is sitting pretty well, I think. But you can always just run a bit of glue on before you fold them down, just to, if you're worried that they're going to pop up. But I'm just using the extra card to push it in on itself. So that's a nice size box, same height, which is great. And then I'm going to take some of the fabric, not the fabric, but you could wrap these in fabric indeed. That would be lovely if you put a beautiful fabric of some description on it. Could use something like and you can even then fold the fabric over the curves. It would work absolutely beautifully as well. So that's a thought, but I just thought I'd keep it coordinating with this design. So I'll just trim off just go a bit closer to get rid of the writing. And this site does have other little ribbon cards and things that you can also download and print, but for me these were my favourites. Some of the other ones are smaller ones, like, just reaching down behind me, smaller ones like this, where you just put wrap one thing around. But again, it was just going to be that issue of having to pull them out individually, and also I just wasn't sure how I would put them in a box with these sort of pointy ends. So I thought the flat ends might work better for me. So now that I'm at this point, I'm going to start the process of putting some glue. On the side, and I will just overlap it just a smidge, and then I'll come around to the next side. So again, just my good old Yoo-hoo glue, but you could use a craft glue obviously if you wanted to. This is just so easy to use. If you get on your fingers, it comes off easily. I even use it with fabrics and things as well. It's a great little glue, not expensive. Again, just wanting to get a nice again, you've got just a little overlap. But again, if you're using a box of your own size, you'll just work out how to do it, whether you use this printable as a decoration or something else. And then I will grab another one. I thought I had one that might already be cut. Do I? Yes, I do. So I might take this one. Smidge more. Like that. So again, just make sure you're putting plenty of glue around the edgy bits, just to get those well adhered down. I'm very happy to be diverting cardboard waste from a landfill. Don't know whether it was this company stopped producing, didn't need all these boxes, or whether they misprint maybe. I haven't had a close spell check of them to see whether there was a misprint on them. Who knows? There was a heap of them there. And it just so happened that I decided they were the perfect size. I was originally thinking sort of like a longer box or something, but nope, these worked great. Now again, I can fold it over and put a little bit of glue onto them so that they fold down well with and adhere onto the inside of the box. So this is how you get the nice edges. So it just folds over and into the box, and then for our other sides we're just going to put a cut in down to where the box is. You can always sort of fold it a little bit before you do it. I'm just doing it nice and quick so that I don't keep you guys all here too long. And then there you go, you have a beautiful little coordinating box to keep your thread cards or lace cards or ribbon cards. It would work great for ribbons as well to put around here. And there you go, something that's really sweet to sit on your desk or on your shelves, to grab out when you want to have a look at what you've got in terms of laces. You can easily lay them down against your fabrics and see how they work. So I hope you enjoyed that one. And finally, I thought I should show you my little bit of stitchery, advent stitchery, and today is actually a very advent stitchery piece. Let me just get this area cleared. Just put that down next to me. Just clear it from here as well. And this was, let me jump up and see if I need to, might just need to bring the camera up a smidgeroo more. This was an advent calendar I made as part of last year's Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, and it hangs up in our kitchen at Christmas time. And each of the houses on this little train track going up a Swiss mountain has a number on it, so starting with 1 down here and going all the way to 25, and each of the houses has a button in it with a little thread on it. So because yesterday was the first, let's take out our little first button, and these are all buttons from my Nana's collection. Oops, one's just popped out. So yeah, just a lovely vintage button there. And then because today is the 2nd, we can pop out the second of the buttons. So there we go. Beautiful little button, and I just absolutely love it. The trees are made with felt, which I just put little stitches in to give them a tree effect. The little houses were actually little bird houses on a fabric that I cut out and then mounted on little felt pockets, and then stitched the pockets down and then attached the threads into the pockets and put the buttons on. So yeah, it's a really fun little calendar, and a special connection to my dear Nana, who departed this earth a few years ago. So yeah, just lovely to remember her as I pop the buttons out as well. So that might give you an idea. Not too late, you could even make your little advent button calendar as you go, and add a little pocket on this year for each of the days of Advent. So I hope that gives you some ideas as well, and I'll try and come back tomorrow with another Christmas craft or Christmas gift idea, as well as a Christmas stitchery as well. And we can also pop out, I'll keep this up in the craft room, and we can pop a button out each day as well. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.